I'm going to give you guys a walk around on my motorcycle collection today. We'll start with the 2019 CBR 1000RR SP. That bike only sees track use up at Mid-Ohio. If you've seen any other videos I've put out, that's the same bike I'm riding there. As well as the 2014 CBR 1000RR SP. Love these bikes. They're great, just absolutely great on the track. They don't see any street miles at all. 2005 CBR 1000RR Repsol edition. That is a true Repsol. It was the very first year they produced it. That was a track bike for me. I'll probably start riding it on the street a little more, although I really don't ride too many street miles. But again, I've had it since new. That's been a great bike. Always gets a lot of comments. And this is my original 1993 CBR 900RR. Got this in 96. So my butt's been on that seat for a lot of miles. I think the bike just turned 15,000 miles on it. But my buddy and I have done a lot of riding on the 900s, and probably my favorite bike. What an iconic bike. But we'll hoping to do a 900 video with a bunch of others. I did acquire a very, very nice original black, red, and silver 93 900. I want to say that bike's got about 5,400 miles on it. And I've actually ridden it at Mid-Ohio a couple times. It's fun. I'll get it out there and novice group and lead the guys around and put some miles on it. So it's fun. I still love throwing a leg over them. And I have another red, white, and blue 93 900RR. That bike is all original down to the tires. 3,300 miles on it. I actually tracked that bike for 20 years. I knew where it was. It was in a pretty big car collection here in town. I literally tracked it for 20 years before I could acquire it. But anyways, I love having this thing just because it's so perfect and showroom condition. It actually sits in my living room on display most of the time. And then I ran across a really nice 1993 600 F2, the red, white, and blue paint scheme. Why not have that? So it took me a few years. I kept tabs on it, and the gentleman was nice enough to let me have it for my collection. 1990 CBR 1000F, red, white, and blue. Great two-up motorcycle, fantastic touring piece. Actually used to belong to my buddy John, so shout out to him. He did quite a bit of work to this thing to make it fabulous, and then we actually did a trade. He traded me this for a red, white, and black 1994 CBR 900RR. For his collection, he's got both of the 94 paint schemes. So hopefully we'll do a big 900 video for you guys at some point. Anyways, moving on to 1990 VFR 750. Just classic bike. Awesome riding, comfortable. You guys know, just another great bike that Honda put out, and it was just a great all-around bike for anybody to throw a leg over. 86 VF 1000R. Found that bike locally. Again, shout out to my buddy John. He did an awful lot of work. The bike was complete, but needed some repair and a lot of love to get it back to what it is now. But yeah, I mean, what a great bike. 85, 86, the 2 years for those. It's big and it's heavy. You know, the thing just screams 80s Hondas. I mean, you couldn't put more red, white, and blue out there. The 86 has the double headlight. The 85 has the single. But anyways, that's that. And then another long time bike in my collection is the 86 VFR 750. That bike has 40,000 miles on it. My butt rode that bike everywhere. Just love it. Love the sound of it. Great bike. Really can't say enough. Just another classic Honda. 84 1000 Interceptor. 1 year only build. Don't see too many of these out there. I love it. I love the looks of it. It's a great riding bike. Got good power. Had to have it. Looked a long time to find the right deal and the right bike. That's a 10,000 mile original bike. Had to go to Detroit to get that, but really nice older gentleman had it and worked out a good deal on that. Got the blue 1983 V45 Interceptor, and I have the red 83 V45 Interceptor. The red one was my very first street bike was a red and white 83 Interceptor. I fell in love with the looks and ran across the blue one. It needed quite a bit of help. It was all together. Somebody had traded it in years and years ago. Traded it in a local dealer, and it needed a lot of help, but it was all complete, real dirty. Had the wrong exhaust and a bunch of stuff. So anyways, put that one back together, and that's always a fun one to have. I like having the pair showing both colors, just as I do with the 83 900 RRs. I like having both colors. My buddy John has both colors of the 94 900 RRs, and they're pretty much museum quality. Another fantastic street bike, hooligan bike, track bike, whatever you want to do with it. This is the 2016 Aprilia Tuono Factory Edition. If you guys haven't ridden one of these, find one, ride it, throw a leg over it. Just an absolute blast. The older I get, I really appreciate the upright riding position, but with all the power and handling of a sport bike. But I ride this one at Mid-Ohio quite a bit, but I love getting it out on the street. Just fantastic. 1998 Yamaha R1. That bike has 1,925 miles on it, I believe. Just an absolute showroom new condition bike. I do have the factory exhaust. I do have all the stuff for it. The original owner had put some performance items, the Woodcraft rear sets, chain and sprocket kit on it, and the full aero exhaust. I do have all the original stuff carefully packed away. The bike is absolutely showroom new. I love riding it. Always get a lot of comments on it, and I have done a few laps at Mid-Ohio on it as well. Love getting it out. 1994 YZF 750. 3,000 original miles. That's still sitting on showroom tires, an absolute time capsule. The bike is just showroom new. There's nothing wrong with it. I just love having it here. It gets a lot of attention, goes to some vintage bike shows. You know, it's just screaming 90s with that paint scheme, but what's not to love about it? And then people always come up and talk about the colors. Just a cool bike. 85 V65 Sabre. The big block that Honda put out. So ran across it. An older gentleman had this thing, and I bought this thing years and years ago, and it's just in there because why not? I mean, it's a V65 Sabre. Who doesn't want a big power cruiser? Just comfy, tons of low-end power. You can just cruise all day long on that thing. And then I got the matching color scheme with the 85 Nighthawk S. Fantastic bike, just the coolest little bike. I really enjoy these things. It was a really nice piece that Honda engineered. It's just a great bike. It's maintenance free. You put gas in it and go down the road, and you don't have a care in the world. 86 Yamaha VMAX, 85 being the first year. So this 86 I ran across, I don't know, decades ago. It's all original. Again, just a big power cruiser. Gets a lot of attention. People come into my collection and they're immediately, oh wow, you got a VMAX. So yeah, it's got a nice cult following, and so that one's all original. I just like having it sit there. 86 Yamaha Phaser. This one is currently being put back to stock form. Got it from a nice younger kid, but he had done a street bobber thing with it, and as you can tell by the rest of my bikes, I like everything showroom stock and that. So anyways, I'm working on that. I have all the parts actually. I've acquired a lot of the stuff I need. I just been too busy this summer working to work on that. So probably this winter we'll get that bike all finished up and back in the lineup in good condition. And then the 86 Radian. Who doesn't like a Yamaha Radian? The greatest parts bin bike ever built. So I ran across it. I always thought they were cool. To me, it was just a neat piece. Yamaha did such a great job of putting a bunch of parts together, and just a low budget bike. It rides good. It's just one of those things that goes forever, and it's kind of a cool looking piece, and I like it. I like all bikes, as you guys are seeing. So a lot of guys know me for my sport bikes because a lot of the cruisers don't go out much, but I do have a passion for all of these. 94 Yamaha Virago 750. That bike has 505 miles on it. It belonged to a friend of mine. Chased it for years, kept it going for him, and he was nice enough to finally let me have the thing. But Yamaha Virago, I mean, how many of those did they sell? So I don't ride it. It's just one of those. I knew it was there. It was all original, low mileage, and thought it was cool, so why not? 2002 Honda Shadow Spirit. Why? Well, look at it. It's pearl white. Who doesn't like all the black and the chrome? And it's got a Mustang seat. Got the Vance & Hines pipes on it. I do have a windshield for it. Ran across it used. It was a trade-in. I got a smoking deal on it. And to me, again, I love my sport bikes, but you know, the dual chrome shocks, the chrome wire wheels and stuff. I mean, who doesn't like the spoked wheels? So I just thought it was just the coolest bike, and yeah, it's been around here for a long time. Another bike that I am honored to have is this 1976 Goldwing GL 1000. This bike belonged to my uncle and toured the United States for years. That bike you're looking at has 67,708 miles, and that is all original condition. I do have a Windjammer 2 fairing, the Samsonite luggage that goes on it, and a backrest in that. I put the bike back to showroom original condition as far as the looks, but he bought it brand new in 1976, and him and his buddies toured the United States in the summers, and he has just ridden this thing everywhere, and I think it's just the coolest. I mean, that is just classic Honda. It's just a fantastic bike to ride. It's got plenty of power, and it's just smooth, and that thing just oozes classic Honda. So again, shout out to my Uncle John. He gave me the bike to put into my collection, and I'm just honored to have it here. He was a huge influence in my life as far as the bikes, and again, that's a very sentimental piece to me. 1990 Pacific Coast 800. I rescued this thing from a little ways away in Ohio. Got a call. It was a father of a friend. You know how the story goes. But this bike had been sitting in a barn on a gravel floor for 14, 15 years unattended and stuff like that, and a gentleman wanted to get it out of the way, and somebody knew I had a collection. They said, hey, would you be interested in going after this thing? So I got it for not much money and brought it home, stripped it down, buffed it all out, got the whole fuel system gone through, and it runs great, and that is the factory windshield. Anyways, I should probably do a video on how we cleaned that up, but that I noticed a lot of the PC800s have fogged windshields. That's the original one. We took it off. A buddy of mine buffed it out, and we have some special plastic polish we get from a place. Man, just came out fantastic. I think it's just cool. Glad to have it. 1980 Yamaha Enduro 125. You're looking at an all original, unrestored bike with, I think it's got now 172 miles. 172 miles. That bike spent its entire life in a garage on the other side of town. Little to no use. I don't think it ever got dirty. We brought it home. I have a title for everything I have here is titled. Everything's legit. And the original owner was selling a couple bikes, and somebody knew me and said, hey, would you want this thing? And I bought it sight unseen. Literally just had to, clean up the carb and the fuel petcock and clean out the tank a little bit. But this bike is just showroom new. So again, just the coolest. Everybody always comes into the collection and they're like, hey, what's the orange bike? And that thing just screams late 70s, early 80s, enduro. These things are kind of cool to have, especially now with the adventure bike thing taking off. I mean, you're looking at early enduros and dual sports here, and now the hobby's come around to where those things are one of the most popular segments. And then we need to talk about this 1972 Honda XL250 Motorsports Edition. All original. It has just a tick over 1,000 miles. The original owner put the knobby tires on it, but other than that, that bike is all original. In fact, it came out of the collection that I got, that low mileage 900RR. This was sitting there, and they offered it to me when I was there picking up the 900, and the more I looked at it, I was like, wow, that'd be crazy to... it's just the history on it. I'm probably going to do a video on that. Just a really, really important piece in the history of Honda as far as the engine is concerned on that. 1975 Honda MT250. This is exactly like my very first motorcycle when I was a kid. My cousin owned one. I started riding it. We ended up buying it. So two-stroke 250, dual sport. Actually a friend slash customer of mine had this in his garage, and it took me many years, but he finally let me have it. And it needs a little bit of work. Bought it for sentimental reasons to have here in the collection. 1987 Big Wheel 200. This did get a full frame-up restoration, mechanical and cosmetic. This one came out of up near the Akron-Canton area. Found this one complete, well used, and then we stripped it down, completely redid everything so it's brand new. I mean, piston, rings, timing chain, and all that stuff. The only thing on that bike that's not Yamaha are the decals, because they don't make them. I was able to acquire everything else, including the gas tank. We did these restorations years ago, but there were none available in the United States. And fortunately, I've got some pretty good relationships with the dealership guys around here. And a gentleman spent some time on the computer and literally found brand new Yamaha tanks still in the box in Japan. So I acquired 3 complete sets of bodyworks and Yamaha gas tanks. All the grips, levers, cables, everything I put on here was all Yamaha, not aftermarket. That bike's awesome. We obviously don't keep gas in it because that's what ruined all the original tanks, but that is just a cool bike. But I love having the thing in showroom condition. 1986 Honda Fat Cat. I mean, who doesn't like a Fat Cat? 86 and 87 only. 86 had the black motors. 87 has the silver motors. This one is all original. Found it decades ago. I don't know. An older gentleman had it in Southern Ohio. Owner's manual, both keys, title, everything. And I actually have some new parts for it. And then again, kind of like when I did my 3-wheeler videos, I've left the whole thing alone. We do ride it once in a while, and I thought, just leave it all original. Yeah, it still has some dirt on it from riding it and stuff like that. I just left it all original. What a cool piece though. But yeah, the 86 Fat Cat, it gets a lot of attention. And then my other Big Wheel 200 is the 1986. This one is actually going to a new home already. I did the frame-up restoration actually a year before I did the 87, and it's going. A friend of mine wanted. He actually bought a BW 80 and a Kawasaki KV75 off me, and then he wanted the 200. And I normally don't sell too much stuff, but anyways, this is going to a very good home. But it's still here. It's been in my collection for a while, and I just told him it was fine to leave it here until he was ready for it. But yeah, I love the gold wheels. The Big Wheel bikes, you know, 85 had silver wheels and no electric start, and then 86 and 87 had the gold wheels, and then 88 went back to the silver wheels. I don't know. I love my 80s bikes with gold wheels. 86 Elite 250. Why? I don't know. Somebody had it, and I was helping them out with a project. I thought the thing was kind of cool, so I bought it. It's actually really cool. Fun little piece to cruise around on. So, got a 09 Ruckus, currently needing some help. I acquired it. It's got a lot of problems. We'll get her going and add her to the collection. Moving back here, 1972 Suzuki Trailhopper. You don't see too many of these. Somebody literally threw this thing in my door in boxes and said, here you go. So guys know I have my collection, and some stuff just winds up here. Anyways, we scrounged up a lot of the parts, put the thing back together just as a good rider, just to have something to cruise around on. Really cool. 71 was red, and 72 was blue, and 73 was green. But yeah, kind of a cool piece. A lot of people ask about it. You just don't see too many of the Trailhoppers. 98 Z50. Why? Everybody needs a Z50. Who hasn't rocked one of these things? Honda built that thing from the beginning of time. That used to sit in my office on display. I bought it for my daughter when she was little, and she ended up liking a four-wheeler better, so the bike really hasn't gotten much use. But again, it's a Z50. You got to have one. And a Dandy. Now, you guys are looking at this. Yes, it is that small. Yes, an adult can ride it. That is the very original first pocket bikes that came into the U.S. It was from Japan, and the late 70s and early 80s, a Dandy pocket bike. Got that out of a collection. It usually sits in my office on display, but yeah, I thought it'd be kind of cool to show how small it is compared to the Z50. What else we got back here? Oh, look at that. 1986 CR250. Fantastic bike. Just still a monster. If you guys watched one of my other videos, we were riding it, comparing it to a 2022 CRF 250R. Chassis and handling, can't even compare. That new Honda is just awesome. But I'll tell you what, this 86 has got one screaming motor. So love these things. Again, gold rims. That was my era when I was racing motocross. And then I have another 86 CR250. I did a frame up resto on this, brought this bike home in pieces. Used to sit up on display in my service area. It really has almost no time on it, but we completely rebuilt the entire engine and frame and everything. As you see, it's all new paint and went through the whole thing. New tires, chain and sprocket. And I got 87 YZ125. That was one of my vintage motocross bikes. I built up a stable of bikes to race at the AMA vintage days, and I still hung on to this. Really good bike, fantastic 125. I sold off several other vintage motocross bikes. We had a pretty big stable of them to race. Hung on to that. So anyways, just wanted to give you guys a walkthrough of my collection. I've never done this, and I thought it'd be kind of cool. I love seeing other guys' collections of bikes. I like seeing what's out there. The three-wheelers were already put away. We actually have them up on shelves on display for the winter just to get them out of the way. So I don't have the 250R and the 350X out here. And then any of my other stuff's going to be on other videos. I just wanted to do a kind of a current motorcycle collection video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Got any comments? Leave me some comments, questions. If you guys want to see other detailed videos on certain bikes, I would be very happy to do that. I do have ideas for some of the other videos. I want to feature certain bikes and do more up-close stuff. But if any of you guys are doing restorations or need some questions answered, I'm happy to do that. If any of the stuff I have will help you guys out with that. I'm pretty particular on having stuff correct, so I'm always happy to help other people with information. Anyways, hey, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, thanks for checking out the video, and hopefully you guys will check out some of the others. Throw me a thumbs up if you like seeing the bikes. I just love all the old bikes. Hey, thanks for checking out the video.